She grew. No, but I'm
to Peter, who actually understood that I really wanted a party even when I said no, I don't want a party. Getting the ball rolling and for making no spelling mistakes in all his blurbs. I'd like to thank Leslie for her pragmatism in the face of my hysteria. Actually having a party. For her Uber organizing skills and for transporting 3 cases of wine all the way from Ontario without being rear-ended. And thank you to my dad for paying for the wine. Special thank you to Nana Assi, our resident cake maker and repentant weasel killer, okay, and go-to party person at the CLSC, who kept a straight face when I told her what my cause was. Okay? To my mom for dressing me. And my sister for the accessories. Page 2. Okay. I'd like to thank you all for being here tonight, friends and colleagues from my past and present. I'm deeply touched by you being here and overwhelmed by the response to this event. I would like to introduce my family. My son Sharon. Okay. Who is a lot more social than me, believe me. Right? And he's had to put up with my crankiness since he was born. My parents, my dad Paul, my sister Angie, next to my mom, my brother Dad, and my sister-in-law Chantal, next to him. And now a brief history of time. I was born on an elephant. My mother is trying to deny it, but just the other day she admitted that after 40 hours of labor, it actually felt like she had delivered an elephant. So there was actually an elephant in the room at the time, but it just happened to be me. Unfortunately, there's no birth certificate to prove that I was born on an elephant. A birth certificate is something you take for granted unless you have one, or you don't have one. Okay? So I exist, therefore I am. I was born on an elephant, but that doesn't quite cut it in Western society. In 1964, my parents and I left India and sailed to Canada, arriving with landed immigrant status. We settled in NGG, 5000 Walkley Street, which is now a crack house. We lived with an axe murderer in the basement, who turned out to be a kleptomaniac, but I had no idea what that word meant at the time. I don't remember the birth of my brother in 1966, but I do remember trading in our cat in order to keep him. My sister was born in 1969. My brother and I got to choose her name. She was a beautiful baby, and she's still beautiful. For a while, I was taller than both of them. In grade 2, I had a teacher named Miss Rona, who went out of her way to make me and 2 other wallflowers feel valued and special. She played guitar, and that's the reason I played today. She taught me the importance of inclusion. Everybody has something to contribute. In grade 4, I switched schools and reinvented myself. It was also the year I stopped growing, but that didn't stop my confused body from developing breasts and sprouting a mustache all at the same time. The mustache I eventually bleached orange, then waxed purple, and after years of electrolysis got rid of, only to find myself looking for chin hairs at 50. When I was 12, I became a Canadian citizen thanks to my parents who answered both trivia questions correctly. Who's the Prime Minister? How many provinces in Canada? My memories of high school, these are my high school friends, are a big bad hair and a seemingly endless succession of midline zits. Okay? I got good grades, was boy crazy, read romances, and wished my name ended with an A. At convocation, I won some do-gooder award, but wasn't listening when they described what it was, and wasn't listening when they called out my name. The only job interview I ever had was at McDonald's in 1981. I developed a work ethic after being put on probation for being too slow at the cash. 2 years later, they fired me, being too generous with the prize. But before I could organize a protest, I got hired as a nurse's aide at Lachine General, where my mother worked at the time. And once there, I was told to slow down. In 1982, I got accepted into the physical therapy program at McGill, which almost made me sound athletic. After doing a physio internship at the Lachine General Physio Department, I was hired by Beverly Colbeck. For the next 11 years, until the hospital closed in 1996, I got to work with the most amazing team of physios. They are all here today, and they remain close friends. I did not have my own desk then, but I had a very large bag that used to take up a fair amount of space behind the door in the office where we all charted. And there was an intervention about that. While working on the geriatric ward one day, I accidentally tucked a patient's breast into underpants and flash forward to this very day, reminding myself to wear underwire to my 50th birthday party. I almost got married in 1995. Outraged by this, the PQ government announced the closure of several Montreal hospitals, including ours. I was union rep during the year we tried to save our hospital, honing my ranting and raving skills. It was a huge loss for all of us. September 1996, I started working at the CLSC. I had never worked with OTs before. They were everywhere. Okay? Everywhere, and it was a long time before I could tell them apart. At first, I attended OT meetings, which were eventually named rehab meetings. During the ice storm of 1998, during a meeting at the bunker, my colleague Carole informed the program director of our program that my first name was actually Sharon and not Shima, and she avoided saying my name from that moment on. Thank you, Carole. Reforms, reorganizations, legislation, new policies and procedures, fusions, confusion, change, and upheaval, but the one constant remained the quality care given by the people I'm privileged to work with. So, what is home care? What is home care? It's finding shih tzus in unexpected places, leading blind men with big feet down staircases, wearing isolation gowns and gloves for walks around the block. It's getting patients out of bed whose hips don't bend, researching ambulators that can transport large testicles, receiving presents hidden in the folds of colorful caftans, feet dangling on really high Moroccan sofas, caregivers building parallel bars on backyard decks, and access ramps steep enough to be worthy of La Ronde. It's the miracle of somebody walking again who wasn't meant to. It's trying to keep it together during those really tough visits, only to lose it later on in the car or at the office with colleagues. It's saying goodbye over and over again. It's being inspired by the grace, courage, and determination of so many clients and equally frustrated by their stubbornness. Quality of life is indeed choice. J'ai bien amélioré mon français grâce à mes chers amis et collègues. Vous avez partagé avec moi votre belle langue et culture. Finalement, j'ai appris la différence entre baiser la siège de la bicyclette versus baisser. And that In 1999, I got married. I'm sorry about the wedding gifts. In 2001, I traveled to India with my parents and sister. I saw the sunrise on the Ganges, the Taj Mahal at dawn. I played Here Comes the Sun in a jewelry shop in Agra a week before George Harrison, my favorite Beatle, died, and stood at the border to Pakistan, where my father crossed as a refugee in 1947. It was a sort of pilgrimage for me and a sad goodbye. The missing birth certificate didn't matter anymore. My home was here. I was sick the whole way home. My mother held my hand throughout the turbulence, and my father kept my place in the lineup for the toilet. They've always been there for me. After India, I tried hard to have a baby and gave up, and after writing a poem about infertility, we applied to Batshaw for international adoption. After several weeks of wicked cravings for shish tao, McDonald's, and Chef Boyardee, I found out I was pregnant. I was motion sick throughout the entire pregnancy. I received the best birthday present ever on February 9th, 2004. Of heart surgery. My sister-in-law took care of us during the whole ordeal. January 2012, I got unmarried. The world didn't end. February 2nd, 2012, I received a text from Jody saying I got the Sorry. Survived my first year as a single mother. Thank you. A lot of help. Thank you. I turned 52 days ago and realized I'm in a much better place than when I was 40. So what does it mean to turn 50? My friend Claudine is over there, once described it as an opportunity to take stock. We aren't likely to live another 50 years, so what are we going to do with the rest of the time that we have left? I call it second chances. If you haven't already figured it out, life doesn't always turn out the way you expect it to. To paraphrase John Lennon, it's what happens to you when you're busy making other plans. Not such a bad thing if you consider that instead of getting what you wished for, you get what you want. Apart from my obvious list of things I have to do, like cleaning my desk at work, learning to cook, and figuring out how many helium balloons it would take to lift me off the ground in a lawn chair, it means leading an authentic life from now on, which doesn't mean an easier one. It means making tough decisions in the face of disapproval and disappointing the people you love. It means introspection, self-discovery, ugly truths, hard work, change, evolution through insight, and letting go. It means speaking with a more compassionate voice, listening with empathy, not burning bridges, forgiveness, and giving back to my community. At 50, I've managed to gather a room full of 75 people without having to get married. So you are my community, my raison d'etre, and this is my way of giving back. For all the time it took to get me here, I have arrived. The time to be happy is now, the place to be happy is here. I will close by reading to you what my friend Leslie wrote on my birthday card. It was titled Elephants and Birthday Relativity. People are born every day, but it's not every day that someone is born on an elephant. 50 years ago you were born, 50 years ago, give or take a few days or weeks or months, and on one of those days, who's to say that it wasn't on an elephant? History is as we live it, and as we tell it, and we get to invent and reinvent who we are as we go along. Thank you. Namaste.
Can you,
I'm the dogs and the cats.
can you put your glass, hold your glasses and give a toast to Sharon?
Yeah.